I guess by comfort film, we're not necessarily just talking about warm and fuzzy romantic comedies
No.
or, something like that. A lot of times we'll rewatch a movie over and over that has a lot of, violence in it or something else going on just because something else about it really speaks to us.
Maybe we have a screw loose. Maybe
Well,
maybe it's the same screw we're both missing.
I
I
think
don't
that
know.
probably goes without saying.
Yeah,
We know we're nutty buddies.
we're not traditional folks.
But, I've never pretended to be, so I think that's okay.
No.
And I'm sure this just confirms that. But from the first time I saw this, we saw this at the movies.
Yeah, I remember
we
seeing
saw
it at
this
the theater. Yeah.
I don't know if we saw it in like IMAX or something, but I feel like we did because it's so visual.
Right.
And just remembering like seeing some of these huge action scenes on the big screen was so energizing. I just don't feel like you see things like this anymore. And you could tell that a lot of the stunt work was practical work. It's not a huge CGI driven film, which not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm sure we're going to have some films that are super CGI-y.
Oh, yeah.
That we discussed that I love a ton. But what I did love about this was that everything was very visceral.
Yeah.
Which really matches up kind of with the punk rock, like metal tone of this movie.
Well, I have to say that too. When we saw it, and still when I see it, when you see the stunts, when you see the falls, the crashes, the flips, the fights, you just don't even know how they managed to do it, and everyone was okay.
Yeah.
And I have the same thing as you, by the way. I can't remember if we saw it in 3D or IMAX or something, because the one shot that sticks out to me is at the very end when, they've taken out the, what's their name? The War Boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they've taken out the War Boys, you see, the guitarist's guitar come at you.
Yes.
And the steering wheel.
Yes.
And, when it comes right to the front of the screen. And that's like classic 3D. And in my head, I'm like, I feel like we saw that coming at us.
Yeah, and that is like the most CGI moment in the film to me is when like that steering wheel comes at you.
Yeah.
But it does feel like a 3D kind of a moment. And I just remember how exciting this was. And I think I still get the same excitement, to at least to some level,
Yeah.
every time I see this movie.
It's definite thing every time. I feel like, I don't know, are they going to make it? What's going to happen? I feel like I don't know the fate of these characters, even though I know them inside and out at this point.
I know.
And so do you.
We've seen it. We know the story. And somehow we're still in suspense.
Yeah.
The whole time. And I still, get like this gut reaction of like, when something bad happens or somebody falls off of a car or whatever that I haven't noticed before, and it just, gives you that punch in the gut.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, like, the real thing that I remember first and foremost about this movie is that when we saw it at the theater, as soon as the screen went black at the end, I turned around to John, who was sitting on my left-hand side, and I remember it 100% like it was yesterday. And I go, is it weird that I just want to watch that again right now? Like part of me was just ready to go back to the box office, buy another ticket, and do it again. Because it was like a roller coaster ride. I remember when I was a kid, we went to Liberty Land in Memphis, which is a theme park that I don't even think exists anymore. They had this wooden roller coaster called the Zippin' Pippin.
Okay.
And I rode on it the first time, and it was the most fun I'd ever had in my young life at that time. And I just ran off the exit and immediately got back in line to ride again. And that's exactly how I felt about Mad Max Fury Road.